Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. Here on the desk are some really awesome comics that I have picked up recently. There are a couple of slabs that are here. One of them is an AOK, a really awesome AOK. There are some new books that I picked up, as well as a really amazing book that has an incredible history behind it. I encourage you to stay tuned to see what it is that I managed to pick up. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I want to ask you to do that for me now. Go ahead and tap that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and that way you won't miss out on any of the content that comes out from the channel. Stay tuned. One of the most interesting books that I managed to pick up actually isn't really a comic book. It is actually a price guide. And it's my understanding that this price guide predates the Overstreet. And I honestly had no clue as to the history of this book prior to a subscriber of the channel reaching out to me. And I think this subscriber reached out to me many months ago, told me all about this book because they had a couple of them in their collection. Didn't offer to sell me one, but they were like, it's a really awesome piece of history. And when a book actually, or a copy actually popped up on eBay, they circled back around to tell me about it. And before I had all the details, I went to eBay and I bought it. And I actually don't buy a ton of things off of eBay anymore, but in this video, you're actually going to see two things that I purchased. But this is what I picked up: the guidebook to comics fandom. And this is essentially a pricing guide that predates the Overstreet. And I honestly don't remember all the history, but I want to say that this came out, and then Robert Overstreet at some point, I think, worked with this guy to do some work on the Overstreet guide. I think that that's the history, but I may have messed that up, and I'm confident that someone will catch it and correct it if I did manage to mess something up. But I picked this up for about $50 off of eBay. I have no clue what it's worth. It really doesn't matter because this is just a really awesome piece of history, and I wanted to add it to the collection. I have a bin or two of obscure books in the collection. This is going to be rebagged and boarded. It's going to go in that obscure bin, which actually sits right behind the wall behind me, but a really cool piece of history. I'll show you a couple of the new books that I picked up, and then I'll show you the slabs here in a second. So Amazing Spider-Man issue number 1. I've been reading that a little bit. It's okay. Here is a really cool red cover. Absolutely love the red covers. All of these books actually came from my comic shop. This is Blood Syndicate issue number 1. Not a bad read. Moon Knight issue number 11. I actually added this one to my pull list because I'm actually enjoying reading Moon Knight. It is actually a decent series. And speaking of decent series, Punisher. If you have not read this series, this new series, treat yourself. It is solid. Issue number 1, amazing cliffhanger. Issue 2 did not disappoint, and I also enjoyed reading issue number 3. That is also on my pull list. I'm looking forward to reading that one. This is a book that has been on the pull list for quite some time. I honestly haven't read it in quite some time, but this is Thor, issue number 25 by Donny Cates. I remember at one point in time, everything that I was reading, it felt like was something by Donny Cates, and things have kind of quieted down tremendously as it relates to Donny, but I'm still picking up Thor. I've been reading it since issue number 1, but probably the last 8 issues I have not even looked at. Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 38. Again, just a really awesome series here. I have an entire run of the Miles Morales that I am collecting essentially for my boy, but I will retain possession of it until he is more responsible. But this is the variant cover, issue number 38 right there. Again, just a couple of really cool modern books that I've picked up. So this next book that I'll show you is a slab, and it's a really awesome slab. I actually have a ton of copies of this book in the 100K collection, and not a single one is 9.8 worthy. And so instead of trying to roll the dice and submit books in to try to get a 9.8, I just decided to buy one. This is Secret Wars 2, issue number 3, just a solid book. And for those folks that don't really know, this is what I believe to be the first real appearance of the Beyonder. Now, we saw the Beyonder before as a rift in the sky. We saw him as an amalgamation of characters at one other point. I do believe that this is his first appearance. And I became obsessed with the Beyonder a long time ago. One of the early videos when I first became a YouTuber back in 2017, 2018 was on cosmic characters. One of the things that I looked at was a character like the Beyonder in his first appearance. And again, I have a ton of this book in the collection and in the 100K collection. None of them are really high grade, so I decided to go ahead and buy one. I snagged this one off of eBay. Got it off of eBay, and then immediately after I purchased it, I received a message on Instagram from someone asking if I was Regie Collects, and I of course answered that I was, and it was I think it's a pair of two brothers. Two brothers actually own this comic shop, this profile called West Coast Collectibles, and I have to get it right. West Coast Collectibles. Brandon and Tom are the two guys that sold me this book, and again, just a really awesome book. And they reached out to me via Instagram and they said, hey, we are going to send a little something extra. And you know, when people say that they're going to send something, typically it's like an extra book or two, right? Which is always appreciated. Anytime you buy something, free is free, and it really doesn't matter what people send. You appreciate what they send. But these guys actually sent me something really awesome. They sent me Vigilante issue number 1, a 9.8. This is the origin of Vigilante, and Peacemaker was an incredible show, and I'm looking forward to season 2 of Peacemaker. They sent me this book, and I have several copies of this book in the 100K collection. Not a single one is 9.8 worthy. They actually sent me a 9.8 white pager. And what's really awesome is that I actually do follow them on Instagram and had been before I even bought the books off of eBay. When I bought the book off of eBay, I had no clue who I was buying it from. But I remember on their profile on Instagram, I remember seeing this book because they do something really cool with the background that caught my attention. It's very different. But again, huge shout out to Brandon and Tom for selling me Secret Wars, first appearance of Beyonder, even though it's not on the label, and for hooking me up with this really awesome AOK. I will put their information down in the description of this video. I encourage you to check them out if that is of interest to you. All right, with that said, we're going to wrap this video up. I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, again, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you need to reach out to me, feel free to do that on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.